So hey guys, welcome to our review of Ultimate Spider-Man issue number 13. In the last issue of Ultimate Spider-Man, we saw Miles Morales finally put his foot down, telling his uncle to back the F off. Stay the hell away from my family, stay the hell away from me, of course, and stay the hell away from my city. Or I might have to do it by force because, I'm tired of you blackmailing me, trying to threaten me and my family, so stay the hell away. And, that's great that Miles did that. But of course, his uncle feels threatened and this upsets him and they start a fight. Now, while they're fighting, some innocent people on a bus gets caught up in this whole entire fight and the bus crashes and it looks like it's about to explode. So it's up to Miles to try to save them. Now, while he's trying to save them, his uncle actually tries to throw a blow at Miles. But before he can actually do that, the bus explodes and his uncle gets caught up in the whole entire explosion. And in the end of this issue, or not this issue, but the last issue, we see his uncle really, really heavily scarred and burned. And he tells Miles that maybe you are just like me. And that's how issue number 12 ended. Now, in issue number 13, we open up at S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters with Steve Rogers, Captain America, Tony Stark as our, Iron Man. They're talking to each other. And of course, Steve gets wind of, this new Spider-Man. And he disagrees, with Miles being Spider-Man, saying that, a 13-year-old kid, a teenager, should not be Spider-Man. And he says he shouldn't be allowed to even put on this costume and fight crime. And of course, the only real reason why he says this is because he regrets or he blames himself for the fact of, Peter Parker's death. That he had a chance to actually help Peter hone his skills, train him to be a better hero, but he never did. He disagreed with it at first too, saying that, Peter Parker as a teenager should not be a hero. He should not be Spider-Man. He should not be doing this. He should be having a life. But seeing that Peter took a bullet for him really struck a blow to Steve, and he really feels bad about this. But of course, Tony Stark, convinces him that, if you want to help out the new Spider-Man, you can't make up for the past mistake that happened, or you shouldn't wallow in sorrow about this. This is time to, step up to the plate and, make a new. Maybe you can help out the new Spider-Man. And Steve he sort of agrees and says, maybe I should talk to him. But before he actually could go and see Spider-Man, or Miles, he actually sees on the news, Spider-Man is a murderer. And of course, Steve sees this and he gets really, irritated and upset, and he goes out and says, you know what, I'm going to see Spider-Man right now. And throughout the issue, we only see Miles in his own, whole daily life. Now, while you see all this going on in his daily life, basically what you see is he's at home and his father comes in to tell Miles the bad news that his uncle did not survive the explosion. And of course telling Miles that he fought the new Spider-Man, and letting this, all these superheroes or these people in costumes run around, run amok in our cities, causing trouble, and blaming Spider-Man for the death of his uncle or his brother. And Miles, of course, feels like this is a big blow to him because he feels like he was the one who killed his uncle. And he does blame himself that, of his uncle's death. And because, he gets a flashback of the last issue, seeing the last parts of, his uncle's moments in his life, he sees, him saying, maybe you are just like me. And of course, Miles is really depressed and he's trying to deal with it with Genki, his best friend at school, and trying to talk about it, seeing if he maybe didn't actually do this. Maybe it was his uncle's fault. It's not Miles' fault. That maybe he didn't kill his uncle, but he still is in fear about all this. And before, he gets to continue to find out, what the hell is really going on here, he gets a phone call from a mysterious person figuring out that he is Spider-Man and that they should meet up. And Miles agrees to this. Now, while he's trying to go to the meetup place with these people, he can't actually literally go there because there's a lot of soldiers around New York City blocking off different sections of the city, and he can't cross there. So he decides to put on the costume of Spider-Man and tries to go out and get there, to the destination. But upon going there, he finds some criminals, trying to rob a bank or, and whatnot. And basically, it's this guy named Bracto, or I don't know how you pronounce his name, the Leaper or something like that. And, Miles fights him, and, later on they apprehend him, and the police officers point a gun at Miles and saying like, oh, freeze, and Miles says, I'm not a bad guy here, but, of course they still think, Spider-Man's a murderer, but he escapes. He meets up with the people that gave him the call, and those people are none other than Aunt May and Gwen Stacy. Now, Aunt May has a gift for Peter, or has something to give to him. Not to Peter, but Miles. But this gift is actually from Peter, not like from Peter himself, but is something that Peter might have wanted the new Spider-Man to have. Before, Aunt May can actually give this to Miles, Captain America comes out from the shadows of this warehouse telling, them that, Miles doesn't need it, because he's no longer going to be Spider-Man. Now, this issue, it was really great. I love, I love the first part of how, Steve Rogers and Tony Stark are talking to one another, and how Tony actually convinces Captain America to try to help Miles as a new Spider-Man. Because he actually says, oh, okay, if you say that if Miles isn't old enough to actually put on a suit and go out to the army, then he shouldn't be allowed to, wear a costume. Then how come you broke the rules? You weren't allowed to go into the army, but you did. And you broke that rule, and you are a hero now. So why can't Miles do that? Why should you even say that? And saying that maybe he should use, Miles to make up for what happened to Peter, that he shouldn't have that, self-doubt in himself, that, he shouldn't blame himself for Peter's death, then now he can, make up for it. But that's what I like about it, because, who's in their right mind to tell us who should be a hero and who shouldn't be a hero? Because, everybody has a chance to be a hero. If you have powers, if you have superhuman strength or whatever, you are allowed to put on a costume and do good, because that's what Miles is doing. He's trying to do good. He's not doing it for bad reason. He's trying to help people. And Miles, put on the Spider-Man costume because he thinks it's his responsibility to take over as Spider-Man, because he had these powers. And he, like I said, he actually tried to blame himself for Peter's death as well, because he was there. He watched him, get pummeled by the Green Goblin. And he thought that maybe if he actually stepped up there and tried to help Peter, maybe Peter wouldn't be dead, because he had that power, and with great power comes great responsibility. And that's what I liked about this first part of this issue. Now, later on throughout, this issue, like I said, about how Miles has to fight crime in this issue, I liked how he did blame himself for his uncle's death. I know he shouldn't blame himself because it's not his fault, but when he blames himself, normally, if you blame yourself for someone's death as a hero, you would say like, okay, maybe I shouldn't put on the cowl or the costume or the mask anymore. I shouldn't be a hero. But Miles doesn't want to be Spider-Man anymore because after what happened to his uncle, but he still fights crime. He knows this is his responsibility. This is what he has to do. He did not look the other way and head to the warehouse where he was supposed to meet Aunt May and Gwen Stacy. He fought crime. He is still a hero, and that's what I like. He did not cower in fear about what happened about his uncle, though he does take it really hard about his uncle's death, and he blames it on himself. He still is out there fighting crime, and that's what I like. Miles is a good guy. He's not that bad, actually. I really do like him. And, in the end of this issue, like I said, Aunt May has something to give to Miles. And in this box, I'm hoping is actually the web shooters that she wants to give to Miles. But of course, Captain America comes out of the shadows telling him, nope, he's no longer going to be Spider-Man. But if you can see this cover right here, you can actually see Captain America stretching out his hand to Spider-Man. So, yeah, maybe he's saying that, he's not going to be Spider-Man until he's actually ready, because I'm going to train him, or he's just going to try to find out, what the hell's going on with this whole Spider-Man is a murder thing, because before, people thought Spider-Man was a villain, a crook, or a vigilante, and no one liked Spider-Man before. And like I said in the last issue, it seems like people were warming up to Miles, but now they're doing the whole entire Peter Parker treatment, where people didn't like Spider-Man, people didn't appreciate him, people thought he was a vigilante. Jonah Jameson, saying that, oh, Spider-Man's a crook, he's evil and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm excited to see what's going to happen next. If you're going to ask me, am I going to pick up the Divided We Fall, each part? Probably not, because I'm only picking up Ultimate Spider-Man. I'm not going to pick up the Ultimates or Ultimate X-Men. I'm just only going to pick up, Ultimate Spider-Man, because that's the only Ultimate, series I really, really want to read. Though I heard good things about the Ultimates. I'm just going to stick with Ultimate Spider-Man. Sorry, guys. And I do have the digital code for this issue, so if you guys would like it, please let me know on the comment section below. And remember, it's first come, first serve, so remember to check down on the comments in case if someone already took the code. But yeah, this is a really great issue. I really like it. It's starting to pick up, and it's building up, character development for Miles. And I also have to talk about, is Uncle Aaron dead? I don't think he's dead. That's my speculation, that I don't think he's dead. He's just, presumed dead. Like, he's just faking his death in order to throw a blow at Miles, and later on he might come back and even strike an even harder blow at Miles. I'm hoping he does that, sort of like a Jason Todd kind of thing. But that's for speculation, that's for the future. I do not know if that's going to happen. But a lot of things are starting to look up for Ultimate Spider-Man. I'm hoping Captain America would stretch out his arm and lend Miles some help and trade him for a big battle that's to come, hopefully, or, who knows. But yeah, I really like this issue. I rated actually a 5 out of 5 because I just found it really enjoyable. And yeah, so that's my review of Ultimate Spider-Man issue number 13. Hopefully you guys like it and enjoy it. And thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. So, see you guys.